Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Koboman. You guys know I do tech support, and for that reason, I want to show you an example of a failing hard drive. So, if you're supporting, let's say, I don't know, 1,000 users, failing hard drive issue will come up occasionally. It's not going to happen all the time, but occasionally. Unfortunately for me, this is happening to my personal computer. Here is a first indicator of that. This is just me trying to open up this PC, also known as my computer back in the day, and I already know which hard drive is failing, but I want to show you that you can have slowdowns on your operating system even if it's not your main C drive that it's failing, right? We know that inside of C here, that's where your operating system is installed. But in this case, the operating system itself is waiting for the broken hard drive or the bad hard drive to finish doing what it's doing before you can process anything that you wanted to process from the C drive. So let's say you have a video game installed on here, just an example, or a program on local C drive, and you try to run it and it's going to freeze like this. You see how this is just straight up frozen, and no matter what you do, you just have to wait for it to do something. Well, that's because it's waiting for this local disk G to do something. You can see that there is no indicator, like this line here, this bar line, that there is any storage in it. That means it's most likely failed, right? So we're going to look at the log files to just confirm this. But here right away you can see that there is an issue, right? You can see that these other drives look normal, as in they show you how much their total storage is and how much free storage they have, and that's fine. However, this disk G, local disk G, is not showing there. So I am 99% sure that there's something wrong with this. And I know that this local disk G is actual magnetic drive. So if you happen to be one of those people who are still using magnetic drives, meaning like actual disk drives, there are disks inside, it's mechanical. These are the issues that you may encounter, and for those reasons, I highly recommend that you upgrade to a solid state drive, whether it's SSD over SATA or M.2. And if you need good recommendations for good quality brand, check out the link in the descriptions. I will post a couple of them in there if you want to, upgrade your computer. I highly suggest not only to get massive speed boost, but to just kind of prevent issues like this. Let's look at our task manager real quick. See, can I minimize this? Okay, yeah, I can. You can see that there is 33% or around 30% disk activity. Well, it's fluctuating right now. Anyways, there's definitely disk activity, and here is our G. And notice over here, there's nothing going on. The reason I noticed there's something going on when I try to just simply move a file, right? Move a file. It's a tiny file, and it wasn't even to it, but look at all the activity that's happening here, and it's utilizing 100% of it at the times, but there's nothing happening, right? It's not even working. We're not trying to copy anything to it, nothing. That's a big indicator that there's something wrong with this hard drive. And here's another hard drive here, and luckily the indicators here says, how the local C here, it says SSD. So Windows operating system knows this. So if you're unsure whether you have SSD or HDD, which is the old school magnetic type of hard drive with disks inside, it will be indicated like this. It would say HDD. That means you have the old one, and you might want to consider upgrading. And look at all this activity, and there's nothing going on. We can go back to this, and it's still frozen, right? Now let's look at our log files. We're going to go in Event Viewer, and this is where we're going to look for any issues in Windows logs. So since this is a Windows issue, right? Windows has frozen. We're going to look at System logs because it's Windows operating system. And as soon as I clicked on it, you guys can already see that there are a lot of issues here. And sure enough, look at this. There are errors, disk errors, and BitLocker errors, and you can see that it says here, volume G cannot be read. And let's see what this other one says. Has a bad block. This is the same hard drive here. Well, how do I know? Well, I mean, I can certainly double check this, but we already confirmed that just by looking at the Explorer here that there's something wrong, and also that there's 100% activity on it, yet there's nothing going on. So Windows operating is stuck because it's waiting for this thing to do something, and nothing else can work. To prove it to you, here's just a empty folder. I'm going to open it up. Well, you see, it's giving me all kinds of issues. Now let's create a new folder. Folder, copy, and I'm going to try to copy it, I don't know, to itself, to desktop. And look, it gets stuck from desktop to desktop. Why? And even though I'm copying from C to C, right? This is a good drive. You see how it showed a delay? And that's just, how big is this folder? I mean, this is minuscule, right? 0 bytes. And it still took that long because it's still waiting for this other thing to do something. Really, really bad hard drive. Let's look at these. It just says, it mostly says bad block. G cannot be read. And I'll show you also what happens whenever you're trying to reboot. Rebooting is not going to fix this. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to cut into that video right now. All right, guys, so I told it to reboot, and well, here's what's going on. It's restarting, and it basically, what happens is it's just going to take forever to restart. And I can film this all day, but this is what happens. It just kind of sits there, and this is not it's not typical either. Even if I was to force a shutdown, like if it was to force a turn off completely, it would be stuck at like loading windows. So right now, this is just typical. It's still waiting for that G drive to do something, and it's not happening. And for those reasons, that one drive that's not even connected, or that you're not necessarily using for anything, Windows operating system still can cause you problems. So be on the lookout, even if you have multiple drives. And here it is. Now it's going to go through post, power on self-test, as it's known in IT world, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to load up. And here it is. It just kind of gets stuck here. And, I can keep this going, and it's usually, I think it's like 5 minutes to 5 to 10 minutes when I've noticed an issue that it, that's how long it takes. And this is an i7 computer with 16 gigs of RAM. So, anyways, let's go back to my other video. Yeah, did you notice how it was slow? It took forever to, do anything. And yeah, I mean, these are clear-cut indicators that this hard drive is bad. And hopefully you don't have anything installed. If you come across this issue, you don't have any data on it. I do, but it's nothing. There it is. It finally, look how long I've talked, and it finally did something. Let me see. Can we even look at any properties of it? Let me see how it looks like inside of disk management. If it even loads, even if it loads. It may not, because there's still issues. See, it's still there. It goes. There it goes again. Let's look at the task. Look at this. It kind of stopped for a brief second, and then it continued to go 100%. And you can tell that this is Western Digital, where it says WDC. It's a Western Digital disk, and there's the serial number for it, which I will be tossing away and recycling it, I should say. Yeah, I'm definitely going to recycle it and get one of the solid state drives from the links that I use, and just make sure that it's good quality. What do I have here for? Yeah, that's what I thought. Samsung. Look at this. This is a Samsung. This is a really old Samsung that I bought. Oh gosh, when these were expensive, these 120 gigabyte ones. So maybe, has it been 10 years? And that's for C, and it still works perfectly fine. Samsung SSD. And, for those reasons, I'm going to link to Samsung, because I always recommend Samsung. I've never had any problems with them. And, yeah, and you can just to kind of say here, we can see that CPU usage here is from 0 to 1%. So 100% issue with the disk drive. There's no way to recover this. I mean, there is, if you want to pay thousands and thousands of dollars, but hopefully you don't have anything saved on there. My other recommendation is to keep a copy of, if you have something that's important, have multiple drives like I do. You can see that I don't care that this one died so much because I already have a backup of it under F. I already have a backup of it. So it's all good. Um, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to replace it and just call it a day. I know this is not my typical tech support type of video. Let me know in the comments below of what kind of videos you want me to make from now on. And yeah, I appreciate that. And if you can leave a like, that's also cool from you. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.